Hey guys, welcome back to another geography video. Today we'll be doing geography paper 1, Tectonics and Cold Environment. So first we have the Chile-Nepal earthquake. This is an example of a case study. So first, for primary effects for Chile, there were 500 people killed and 220,000 homes, 4,500 schools, 53 ports and 56 hospitals destroyed. You need to know some of these statistics, by the way. So Santiago Airport was completely destroyed. The cost was 30 billion, and the country lost power, water supplies, and communications. So for Chile's secondary earthquakes, you have 1,500 kilometers of road damaged or destroyed, meaning road communities ended up getting cut off. Many coastal towns were devastated by the large amount of tsunamis, as Chile's next to the coast. There was a fire at the chemical plant near Santiago. So for immediate responses, international aid supplied field hospitals, as well as power and water, mostly being restored in 10 days. Chile managed to raise 60 million US dollars for emergency shelters. They ended up getting 30,000 of those. Temporary repairs were made to Route 5, the north to south route, in 24 hours. So for Chile's long-term responses, they have a strong economy, which is mostly based on copper exports, and they could rebuild Chile without much need for foreign aid. And there was a housing reconstruction plan, and it managed to reconstruct 200,000 houses. And then the president ended up announcing that it would take 4 years for Chile to fully recover from the damage and trauma that it took from the earthquake. Okay, so now we have Nepal. So Nepal primary effects. There was 9,000 dead, 20,000 injured, 3 million homeless. And then electricity, water, sanitation, food, communications affected. So the major resources that a country needs to thrive. So 7,000 schools destroyed and 50% of shops destroyed. And the cost of the whole thing was 5 billion. Nepal secondary effects. So landslides blocked roads and slowed relief efforts. Avalanches on Mount Everest killed 19 people. There was no tsunamis because Nepal is on land. And there was an avalanche in the Langtang region, which ended up with 250 people missing. So for Nepal immediate responses, half a million tents for homeless were given out. International financial aid and medical aid, water support from the UK, China and India, and other countries. Helicopters rescued many from avalanches on Everest, and social media was widely used in search efforts trying to rescue more people. So there were roads repaired and landslides cleared. And there were thousands of homeless shelters opened and houses were rebuilt. There were 7,000 schools also rebuilt. Building codes were made stricter. Repairs to Everest base and routes. So this meant that tourism was also ended up being boosted as people came to explore Mount Everest once again. In June of 2015, there was an international conference where many countries met up with Nepal's government, and they discussed reconstruction plans and sort of financial support that Nepal would need. Okay, so now we move on to the cold environment case study. This is Svalbard. It's a very good and easy example. So for the opportunities, we have mineral extraction, energy development, fishing and tourism. So for mineral extraction, so we have Svalbard has rich reserves of coal, but however, environmental groups are against using it because of the negative environmental effects it has on all the ecosystems. However, it is necessary to Svalbard because it is the main economic activity, and there are over 300 staff employed in mines around Svalbard. And then energy developments. So in the future, Svalbard are going to try and use geothermal energy. Currently, Svalbard only has one coal-fired power station, which powers the whole of Svalbard. It gives them enough energy that they need, but they're going to try and switch that to geothermal. So for fishing, Svalbard, specifically the Barents Sea, contains the richest fishing ground in the world. There are over 150 species of fish here. Waters are extremely important for breeding and nursing grounds for fish stocks, and fishing is controlled and monitored by, I think it is the Norwegian and the Russian government and some other countries, to make sure the fishing is sustainable and there are many ecosystems that will be protected and not harmed or damaged. So for tourism, this is a major opportunity as it has grown a lot in recent years. So in 2011, 70,000 people visited Svalbard, but 30,000 were from cruise ships. This meant that the harbour had to be enlarged to cope with the increased number of cruise ships. Tourism also provides plentiful employment for the locals, as there were 300 jobs provided. Tourists also come to explore the natural environments. They're very scenic. People go polar bear sighting and snowmobile rides. However, there are challenges to oppose these opportunities. So first, we have extreme temperature. Temperature can fall to below -30 degrees and even colder in more upland areas. It's dangerous to work because of a risk of frostbite, and as you can think, the work would be at a slowed or decreased rate because of the sort of like you're not able to move around as much or as quickly. For construction, there were many buildings and everything that had to be constructed to maintain. So we have so they built houses, shops and offices. They constructed new roads. They constructed many harbour facilities, as I said before, for the fishing vessels and the cruise ships. Buildings for mining operations and coal extractions were constructed. However, a setback is because of the layer of permafrost. No strong foundations can be placed into the soil, as it's just permafrost. And if the permafrost melts, the foundations could get destroyed, so the building will end up getting destroyed. But that is a very negative thing. So services, we have water, electricity, sanitation, and pipes are above the ground, preventing cracking from the permafrost that I mentioned before. And this could result in a loss of oil if it were normal under the ground. For accessibility, there was only 50 kilometers of road in Longyearbyen, which is the main town in Svalbard. There is one airport which handles international flights from Norway and Russia, and most people use snowmobiles for transportation, as the roads don't often lead into the individual villages. That's this Tectonics in Core Environments. We have the Chile Nepal case study, Svalbard case study. So let me know if you guys want me to do any other videos, and good luck.